Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the workshop Upgrading Digital Governance at the Local Level, workshop 302. We have 60 minutes in front of us. I will moderate this session. My name is Deniz Susar from United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. I just want to give you a brief background what this workshop is about. At our department, we look at how governments are using technology through our United Nations e-government survey. We look at 193 UN member states and try to measure their online progress. This e-government survey has been continuing since 2003, and since 2018, we also started looking at how the local level, specifically cities, are using online services. So this is in partnership with United Nations University e-government section, who is based in Portugal, and Morten is with me. So we started with 40 cities in 2018, the most populous city in 40 countries. Then eventually we expanded to 193 cities. However, after getting feedback from stakeholders, the feedback was basically one city per country is not enough. Can we do more? And together with UNU, we developed a methodology so that our application in one city can be spread to several cities in a single country. So this partnership is open to anyone. We've done some application in various countries, for example, Brazil, India, South Korea, a few of the names that come to mind. And of course, today, it is Tunisia. We recently applied the methodology together with the Tunisian e-government society, so we will hear more from them. But I will ask colleagues so that they can put in the chat the link to where you can learn more about this project. So again, we can partner as UNDESA with any government or non-government entity. We have a memorandum of understanding. We sign jointly after cleared by legal departments. Then the partnership starts. And with that, after that, we share the methodology. We give access to the platform to the entity who is running the project. In this case, Tunisia e-government society. Then, in our methodology at the national and at the local level, the portal of the city or the country needs to be assessed by two people who do not know each other. So at the global level, we recruit two people in each country, which is around 400 people. They assess the portals, and then if there are any discrepancies, then we bring them together and we finalize the data. So the same happens at the city level. So again, I'll give example of Tunisian e-government society. They choose number of cities in Tunisia, and they recruit two people from each city. And these people do the assessment. The results come to that entity, and then they produce an outcome document, and we do outreach like this. So it's important, of course, to inform the city officials about their performance, but also to share this experience with other countries so that they can learn from each other. So this is a very brief introduction to the project and to the objective of this workshop. So we want to expand further in several countries. This is our goal. Right now it's happening in UK together with our partner in UK is the Ministry of IT, and they are working together with the university. So we have two partnerships there. So I will stop here and give the floor to Morten just to explain further, and then we will hear from the rest of the online speakers.
Thank you, Dennis. So as Dennis was saying, this is a partnership not just between UNDESA and UNU, but also with the local actors in a number of countries. So Tunisia will be presenting their results later during this session. But to put it into a context of why local government is important, we see that increasingly globally that there is strategic approaches to service delivery. Service delivery in some countries is mainly the mandate of central government. We see this particularly in smaller or low-income emerging economies. We see that in federal countries like the case of Brazil, but also in India, that local service delivery is taking place more on state level, so the regional level, or at the local government level. So, for instance, in the context like we are in Norway and other Nordic countries, local authorities, municipalities are responsible for some 80% of all service delivery to citizens and businesses. Only 20% is at central government. Tunisia is a country where there's a decentralization process in place, and it's also the latest report out of that. So what is the role of the LOSI network and the individual national applications of the framework? Well, it granulates the assessments that Dennis and his colleagues do every 2 years of the largest city in each country. So that allows us, for instance, in India to say, well, we know that every 2 years Mumbai is assessed. And that is then benchmarked with 192 other large cities globally. If we then do a LOSI framework application within that country looking at other cities, we suddenly have an amplifier where we can not only compare the progress, the strengths and weaknesses on local government service delivery online in the national context, but we can triangulate that with cities globally from the UNDESA biannual assessment or from other LOSI network applications. Now, naturally, local contexts matters. Priorities differ in different countries. So we've seen, for instance, that our partners in Korea and Brazil looked also at smart city-related indicators. So they complemented the core set of indicators to be assessed from the LOSI framework with a set of smart indicators related to mobility, waste, IoT, and so forth, to really complement that into the local context and the local national priorities. So this is where the LOSI framework is coming from. This is where the benefits are. And just to put some numbers on it, we have 9 reports already published, so roughly 3 countries a year. There's 5 ongoing. So the Tunisians are considering doing a second round. Mozambique, Tanzania, Saudi Arabia, India and Korea is also in their second round, so they've done an application of the framework once, but they're doing it again after a few years to see what progress is within this larger sample of national cities. So this is the context in which the framework was developed and how it's used, and also a little bit of a background on how it is working before we hand over to our Tunisian colleagues. That's all from me.
Okay, thank you so much, Morten. So now let's turn online. Our colleague Dimitris Sarantis is online, also from UNU eGov. And I have to say, this is a joint project between UNU eGov and UNDESA. And we very much appreciate the ongoing collaboration. Dimitrios?
Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. So, good morning, everyone.
I don't think the sound is going through.
The sound is okay? Or,
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, thanks. Good morning, everyone. So after introduction of Dennis regarding the LOSI methodology and the brief talk from Morten regarding the use of a local assessment and the importance of it, adjusting it to the country needs, I would share some insights regarding the LOSI application from our team until now. So it's a pleasure to be here, even though virtually, to share some perspectives on the Local Online Service Index and its transformative potential in advancing digital governance at municipal level. As said also from Morten and Dennis, LOSI plays a critical role in supporting the achievement of Sustainable Development Goals, especially SDG 11, making cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. As the 2024 United Nations E-Government Survey highlights, over 65% of SDG targets fall under the jurisdiction of local authorities. So this makes local digital governance not only relevant, but also essential. City portals are becoming the digital front doors of municipalities, providing residents with access to vital services, from waste management, public transport, to social protection and participatory budgeting. LOSI helps cities assess and improve these services using, at least the last edition, 95 indicators across 6 categories. Since its pilot, as Dennis said also, in 2018, LOSI has evolved significantly. The 2024 edition now includes all 193 United Nations member states' most populous cities. It goes further by introducing e-government literacy in the last edition as a new category, recognizing that digital inclusion requires not just access, but also the skills to engage. From real-time communication tools to free Wi-Fi access points and multilingual platforms, cities are making progress, but challenges remain, especially around funding and the digital divide. One of the key findings from the 2024 survey is that national portals still tend to outperform local ones. However, we have seen that cities with strong collaboration between national and municipal governments, as well as those with clear institutional frameworks, score higher. This indicates that vertical alignment and shared governance models are crucial for digital success. So LOSI, we can say that it is not just an assessment tool, we can consider it as a framework for collaboration. In recent years, we have expanded its application beyond the most populous cities. So thanks to partnerships coordinated by UNDESA and UNUGov, as Dennis said also, countries like Tunisia, that we will hear afterwards, Uzbekistan, Korea, Greece, India, Jordan, and Brazil have implemented LOSI at sub-national levels. This decentralization of digital diagnostics allows for more targeted interventions and knowledge sharing. Our aim and our hope is to see more countries join this LOSI network to strengthen their local digital capacities. Closing, and before giving the floor to Tunisian partners, I would say that LOSI is a powerful vehicle for cities to not only benchmark their progress, but also to learn from each other. Mm-hmm. With a growing pressure on cities to deliver inclusive and smart services, it is critical that we embed data-driven, participatory, and people-centered approaches into local governance. So I look forward to today's discussion and to supporting more cities on their digital transformation journey. So before giving the floor to Sabrine, I would invite all participants with physical presence or online presence to submit their questions, their comments, orally or written to the chat, and so to have a discussion after the presentation from the Tunisian partners. Thank you, Sabrine. The floor is
Thank you. Thank you, Dimitrios. So I think, yeah, we clearly explained what this is about. I hope it's clear to everyone as well. Yeah, so I think it's time to see really in action, Sabrine. So the floor is yours and your colleagues. So if you can show us what this is about and what you did in Tunisia.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Morten, as well, and Dimitrios. I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to our partners at the UNDESA and UNU e-governance unit for making this session possible, the IGF Secretariat as well for believing in the session topic, as well as the audience for joining us today to talk about the Tunisia. Before we begin the presentation, allow me to introduce myself and my colleague. So my name is Sabrine Dashrawi. I'm the project coordinator of the Lucy application in Tunisia. And I'm honored to be here today with my colleague in the society, Salsabil Yaqoubi, to share the latest updates and upgrades we've implemented at the local level. Okay, so before we, so in this session, we will focus mainly on two parts, which represent the two most critical phases of the project of the project. So in the next slide, you will find key messages of our session. I don't know, Salsabil, if I don't know if the audience is seeing the screen.
Yes, we see.
If you're seeing the screen moving to next slide.
No, still at the first one.
Okay.
Yes, now we see.
Yes, now we can see. Okay. Salsabil, if we can go back just quickly to key messages before I leave the floor to you to present the rest of the presentation. Good.
We see right now official
Yes.
partnership with the United Nations slide.
If we can just move to the first parts.
Maybe you can continue explaining while the slide is coming on.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll share from my side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll share from my side. So I don't know if the audience can see the screen moving.
Yes, we see now the first. Yeah, now we see the key messages. Please continue.
Okay, so in this presentation, we're going to be mainly focusing on two phases of the Lucy project or Lucy implementation in Tunisia, assessing the MGP, which is the municipal government portals, using the Lucy framework, and the second phase, which is improving the municipal website using the Lucy-based approach. So for the Lucy application in Tunisia, and before I go ahead and introduce our work, I would like to give a quick introduction about our society. So our name is the Tunisian E-Governance Society. We are a non-governmental organization. We've been practicing for 10 years now. These are some of our vision, our mission, and our goals. So we focus on transparent, intelligent, and participatory governance model, smart governance, develop innovative policies as well. And we focus on using technology, we focus on open data, and we focus on smart governance. And we are also involved in other initiatives. We're not just in, let's say, in Lucy assessment or engaged in Lucy project. We're also have other initiatives with civil society, with academia, and with other entities. We have here the Open Geodata Hackathon, the Metaverse Summit, and our participation in the Open Government Week, where we presented our evaluation for ministry portals as well. So we also have 3 recently publications, international publications to our record. In March last year, we signed a memorandum of understanding with our partners at the UNDESA, just to highlight, our collaboration on the Lucy methodology and its application in Tunisia. Of course, we have achieved a significant milestone in implementing the project in Tunisia. As you can see here, the timeline for our achievements, we first participated in the IceGov last year's edition in Pretoria, South Africa. We also published our report, which you can find it in the official website of the UNDESA. Our participation last year in the IGF through Open Forum, with our partners as well, UNDESA and UNU. And last, we have a recorded webinar where we presented our findings about the LUCI application in Tunisia. So this is a quick overview about, let's say, our team structure. We have the project management, we have the review, experts who are taking care of the review phase, and then we have our assessors. This is just to give you a quick overview about the expertise that we have in the team. With that, I leave you with my friend Salsabil Yaqoubi to present to you the first phase and the second phase of our LUCI project. Salsabil, the floor is yours.
Yes, just to remind the time as well. So if we can finish around 15 minutes, so we give some time for questions.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. So now we're going to start presenting our phase one, which was basically evaluating the municipal websites using the LUCI framework. And so here we have the timeline for our LUCI project detailing the key phases throughout 2024, where we began the project initiation and the signing of the MOU in March. And this was followed by scope definition and comprehensive team training in April and May, data collection assessment from May to July, with assessment reviews conducted in August. The crucial phase of result analysis and report development spanned from August to September, culminating in the presentation of our findings in November. And this structured approach ensured a thorough and systematic application of the LUCI framework. And the primary goal of the LUCI assessment is, at the end of the day, to identify digital maturity of municipality-based portals for criteria communicated by UNDESA. And the assessment process begins with preparing a final list of municipality portals to be assessed. And then teams are assigned in pairs to these municipalities. The pre-assessment phase involves two key steps. First, reviewing the UN local e-government toolkit to gain a comprehensive understanding of LUCI groupings, ranges, indicators, and criteria. And secondly, thoroughly understanding the questionnaire and the LUCI indicators explained in the instruction column. Finally, the assessment involves filling out the LUCI questionnaire by scoring each evaluated indicator in the municipal government portal with a simple yes or no. And so here we're gonna try to just give you a quick demonstration of how that would work. And so we just picked 3 indicators for which belong to the content provision category. And starting off with just show you a brief overview how the assessment goes. And for example, for number 222, does the MGP present a list of services provided by the municipality? So here we pulled up a municipal portal in Tunisia. And if we go to services, we go to civil status services, and we will find the different kind of services that they have and more information about that. And so that satisfies that criterion. And then, for example, information about municipality history, demographics, graphical region, economy, tourism, etc. And so here we could find that in, if we go to the city of Sfax and definition of the city, we do find that information. And so then that indicator is satisfied, as you can see here. And then the last the last indicator that we wanted to show was, for example, the availability of the portal different languages. So, for example, here we could switch from English to French. And basically, we reiterate that process with all the 95 indicators in all 6 categories, and then calculate the score. If it exists, it's 0. It doesn't if it exists, it doesn't exist, it's 0. If it exists, it's 1. And then that score is divided by the total number of indicators, which is 95. And that is just a very brief overview of like how the assessment process works. And so going back to our presentation, here we reiterate the similar like basically what we were talking about. So the 2024 version of the LOCI methodology introduces a significant new criterion, which is the e-government literacy, or ELI, which Mr. Dimitris has already mentioned. And this expands the total number of indicators to 95, distributed across 6 distinct criteria. And these criteria include institutional framework with 6 indicators, technology with 12, content provision with 30, service provision with 22, participation and engagement with 15, and the new e-literacy with 10 indicators. The scoring method is again binary, where an indicator receives a value of 1 if it exists in the municipal portal and 0 if it's missing. And raw scores for each city are then divided by the total number of indicators, 95, to produce the LOCI scores ranging from 0 to 1. These scores are then used to identify the digital maturity level of each municipality, categorized as very high for between 0.75 to 1, high between 0.5 to 0.74, middle between 0.25 to 0.49, and low for 0 to 0.24. And this structured approach allows for a clear and quantifiable assessment for digital maturity. And so this slide details the geographical and demographic scope of our assessment. And so our study actually covers all 24 governance of Tunisia, encompassing a total of 24 municipalities. And so this broad coverage allows for a comprehensive understanding of e-governance across the country at the local level. And this slide presents the overall LOCI results of the evaluated municipalities, where we can observe that 37 of the municipalities
Sorry, Salsabi, can you please go full screen to see the whole slide of your screen? Is it possible?
Yes, we just see speaker mode now, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
thank you.
And so, yeah, we go back to the talking about the Tunisian results. And so these are the overall results. And as we mentioned, 37% of the municipalities, specifically 9 out of 24, are ranked within the middle group. Conversely, a larger portion, or 63% of 15 municipalities, fall into the low group. And this indicates a significant opportunity for improvement in digital maturity across many of Tunisia's municipalities. And we have this chart that visually represents the distribution across the LOCI index from 0 to 100%, with categories of low, middle, high, and very high. But as you could see here, most of Tunisia's municipalities lie between the low and the middle ranges. And so the slides provide a more granular view of the LOCI scores, highlighting the top 3 municipalities for each criterion for service provision, content provision, and for, lastly, the tech. And these results indicate varying strains across different aspects of e-governance among municipalities. And this is basically a continuation of our analysis of the LOCI scores per criterion for e-literacy. We see outstanding performance from these municipalities, all achieving a perfect 100% actually when it comes to e-literacy. And this highlights strong digital literacy initiatives in those areas. And in terms of participation and engagement and the institutional framework criterion, these are the top performers. And these detailed breakdowns of the top performers helps us pinpoint specific areas for improvement within each municipality, guiding a targeted intervention for improvement. And as for our recommendations, and based on our findings, we found several to improve the e-governance in the Tunisian municipalities. Firstly, to advance digital services, we recommend establishing a responsive communication channels through advanced technologies and leveraging citizen centricity in service digitization. And secondly, to improve content provision, municipalities should develop user-friendly interfaces, provide thorough statistical data, regularly update municipal governmental portals, user statistics, and other multilingual content. And thirdly, extending the framework of our instructions, which involves strengthening open data policies to promote transparency and addressing gaps in privacy regulations and the right to access government information, and obviously building trust and accountability with citizens. And finally, to enhance the technical features, we suggest developing advanced search features for easier content navigation, improving user support features like frequently asked questions and help desk numbers. And these recommendations aim to guide municipalities toward higher digital maturity. And so moving on to our second phase, where we move from more theory to action, and where we aim to improve the municipal websites using a LOCI-based approach. And so we now transition to the second phase, and this is initiated in March 2025, which builds upon the insights gained from our initial evaluation and focuses on implementing targeted improvements to enhance the digital maturity of municipal online services. This is where our recommendations begin to translate into tangible actions. And our current project is actually focused on improving municipal websites, and the goal of this initiative is multifaceted to leverage research from the first phase, to increase partnership between local government and civil society, and improve municipal portal accessibility, really, for user experience and promoting digital inclusion at the local level. And the outputs will include training municipal members on how to conduct their own website evaluation and producing a report highlighting improved scores. And so this is a project timeline which began in March with scope definition and team structure, followed by defining quick fixes in April, and then the pre-implementation phase in May, with the implementation phase taken place in June, and post-implementations, lesson learned, or recommendation, and of course the final report publication will soon follow. And this initiative involves checking portals, before and after updates, identifying problems in access, speed, and ease of use, improving structure, and ultimately making it easier for people to use. And this collaborative effort with the Tunisian municipality is actually very, very crucial for enhancing the digital governance. And so for our scope definition, which is, again, a very crucial step for the second phase of our project, we clearly define the scope in which ensures that our efforts are targeted and effective in promoting the municipal websites based on the LOCI framework. And this involves identifying specific aspects of the website to be addressed and the expected outcomes. And in defining the scope for improving municipal websites, we established clear criteria for selecting the municipalities that we want to be working with. And this criteria include their geographical location, their initial LOCI score, and their responsiveness to collaboration. For selecting the results, our priorities given to municipalities with low LOCI score, specifically those ranging from 0 to 24%, indicating the greatest need for improvement. And we also have a location-based meeting method with on-site meetings for municipalities outside the capital region, and online meetings for those within, like that are more further. And communications facilitated through phone calls and emails. And the systematic approach ensures we focus our efforts on where they are most needed and we can have the greatest impact. And so actually for the next step, and it's crucial in our improvement strategy, it involves identifying and prioritizing immediate impactful changes that can be implemented to enhance the municipal websites. And these quick fixes are designed to address the most pressing issues identified during the initial assessment phase. And so our quick fixes framework classifies indicators into 3 categories, as you can see here on the screen, based on their complexity and aiming to improve the municipality score. And it's important to clarify that the classification is based on the general complexity of the tasks from an international perspective, not necessarily on what is like currently available or practiced at the national level. And we have 3 categories, as I previously mentioned, which are easy adjustments, moderate adjustments, and hard adjustments. And this framework allows us to prioritize and implement changes effectively, starting with the easiest and most impactful adjustments.
Yeah, so just a reminder that if you could conclude in 2 minutes.
Okay, yes, sure. So for our pre-implementation phase, we undertook several key steps to initiate collaboration with stakeholders, conducting their mapping and outreach, identifying key municipalities. Secondly, we performed profiling, collecting conceptual data, and then we drafted standardized partnership frameworks. And then we aligned our shared goals, engaging municipalities in defining the improvement priorities. Finally, we formalized the collaboration by launching a pilot implementation discussion such as RIBA, which we'll go over now. And so actually, our chosen pilot is RIBA, which has a LOCI score of 30.52, placing it in the middle category, which is moderate for maturity, with room for significant improvement. And as you can see here on the screen, this is how they score for their LOCI, for each category on their LOCI scores. And here, this is a breakdown of all the missing indicators in the service provision and their categorization based on our quick fixes framework. And these are for content provision, where we see a lot of easy adjustments, for institutional framework with only 1 missing, for engagement and participation, e-government literacy, and technology. And so here we have basically our approach to implementing the quick fixes is based on batches and starting with small group of 8, and this allows us to validate the feasibility of implementation, ensuring our changes are practical, achievable, and demonstrating improvements is possible with a minimal time, cost, and technical requirements, building trust step by step with the municipalities. And we chose this method to enable impact and keep the collaboration manageable with municipalities, maintaining continuous communication, and of course, since our work reflects the voluntary resource limited capacity. And so as a quick example, these are the suggested batch, for the first batch, these are the suggestions we made for service provision and for content provision, and then for institutional framework. Mm-hmm. And here you could see actually the suggestions that we made to the municipalities being reflected on their municipal websites. And so actually after the first batch, the score jumped from 30 to 39%, still placing it in the middle category, but still we here have a proof of concept that this does work. And this is the score that we anticipate after implementing all the easy fixes that we categorized for this Riba municipality. And the score could jump above 50%, which would place the municipality portal in the high category. And as for our challenges, we encountered several from the lack of formal engagement channels, as often unclear to who to contact, from the initial contact on trust building, as we had to introduce the LOCI framework from its inception and the whole build credibility. Of course, we have limited resources on both sides, but we did tackle that by strategic outreach as we used our network. We also prepared documentation such as partnership documents and one-pagers outlining goals, roles, and expectations, and of course with consistent follow-up, maintaining the regular friendly communication to keep them engaged. And so we do recommend using the existing networks and providing clear materials, and most importantly, maintaining ongoing communication with the local partners. And at the same time, we have to balance ambition with realism. That's why we're going for the easy fixes first, and that's why we're doing it in batches. And so the way forward, as we look at it, we do see looking ahead, proposing several strategies to advance e-governance in Tunisia, from advocating civil society organizations to collaborate closely with the municipalities to assist in the collection and publication of essential data, and fostering PPPs for crucial e-service expansion, encouraging co-development of essential online services. And of course, we believe in collaboration with other countries interested in applying the LOCI methodology, and these international partnerships can provide valuable insights and beneficial exchanges about the best LOCI application. And finally, we emphasize the importance of collaboration with the private sector for the technological upgrades. And so these partnerships can provide expertise and infrastructure development needed. And thank you everyone for your attention. We hope that the presentation provided valuable insights into the application of LOCI in Tunisia, and our efforts enhance digital municipal governance at the local level, and we're open to questions and further discussions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Alsabil. I think this was very, very helpful, and congratulations for your efforts in this project. So you are not only applying, but you are also giving guidance to the public officials, so which is very much appreciated. We have a little bit time now for questions. I'm just following the script given to me, but before I also mentioned that we are applying LOCI methodology in UK right now. So if Aaron, if you want to just say 2 minutes about that, we'll appreciate it, and then we can get questions for everyone.
Sure. Is my audio coming through well?
Yes.
Great. First, I just want to say thank you to everyone that helped organize at IGF, as well as my colleagues from UNDESA. I work alongside Dennis in New York. I'm sure you guys don't envy being in Oslo when it was about 40 degrees Celsius the past 3 days. So enjoy the weather in Oslo, as well as the other amazing sessions happening at IGF in the meantime. So as Dennis mentioned, I work on the UK application of the LOCI methodology. And I think the overarching theme that was touched upon, but that I really want to highlight in this brief input, is that I think working together is more important than ever in this digital world, especially when it comes to improving the government services. And as far as I can tell, so far, it's still in progress, but the UK does seem to be, alongside Tunisia, leading in this area. And the application of this LOCI methodology in the UK really shows how innovative partnerships can improve people's everyday experiences through local government. And in many cases, leveraging university students, collaborations with national as well as the local municipalities. I think LOCI and the UN provide the bridge to be able to turn this into a conduit to improve people's everyday lives through, like I said, the digital services that are provided within their local governments. And what I like about LOCI is it focuses on the practical cooperation. It measures how effective local government websites are and encourages the groups and the parties involved to share their ideas and the strategies. And this teamwork that's integrated within the methodology itself results in online services that are easier to use, more transparent, and truly more reflective of people's needs on the ground.
Thank you, Aaron.
The main point here is
How many
simple.
cities?
When we work together and collaborate cross-functionally, just like with LOSI, we achieve stronger and more accessible services. And the UK, just like with Tunisia, provides a further example of how entities can work together to deliver the results, because that's how we'll continue to deliver real improvements for communities everywhere.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much. Can I ask how many cities in UK? Just quickly. Oh, we cannot hear you, but
Aaron, you're muted.
I was asking how many cities did you apply in UK? Okay, we will go back to Aaron. But now, Dimitrios, do we have any questions online if we can take, or anyone here from the audience, please?
Thanks, Dennis. I don't see any questions in the chat at the moment, so I will invite once more participants to submit the questions in the chat. We have some time to respond to comments or questions. I would like to make just a small comment on the presentation of Salsabil. I would say that this is a very good example, a very good case of using LOSI methodology as an improvement framework for local government, because I knew that they have done a very good work in assessing municipalities in Tunisia. I was not aware for the next step. They went, Tunisian, as we see now, Tunisian partner went a step forward. So using the results from LOSI applications to really not only improve local government, but also to suggest methodological steps to do that. I was really surprised with this categorization of improvement steps in clusters, easy, medium, and more difficult to be implemented. This is very interesting because it gives this easy win-win opportunity to local governments to design quickly and successfully improvements in their local government websites. Also, this interaction that Tunisian partner e-government society has with the local e-government authorities to apply the results of LOSI application in government is very interesting. So these are some comments that I have to do on the presentation, and I will pass the floor to Sabrine.
Yeah, Dimitrios, also, let's get one more question from here, from the audience, and then we'll get back to you. Thank you. Yeah, please, gentleman here.
Thank you. My name is Steve McDowell from Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida. My question is about the term local government. What's the scope of size? Because a city like Oslo could be called a local government, or a city with 200,000 or 300,000 people might be called local government and have very different sets of resources and size of citizens population that you're dealing with.
Thank you. I think I can answer that one. So when we started this project, in order to cover as many people as possible, we started with the most populous city in each UN member state. So it is not the capital. Usually people confuse with that, but it is, for example, New York City in US. But we know US has 50 states, and it's very challenging to define. But when Tunisian colleagues apply the methodology in Tunisia, they choose each region. When we did in Brazil application, in Brazil, I think 50 states, they chose largest city in each state plus the capital city. So there is some flexibility there to extend. And the name doesn't really reflect the application, so we are focusing more on cities. Yeah.
If I may just...
Yes, please.
If I may just complement that, the LOSI methodology, when colleagues like Dimitris go in and advise on how to apply the methodology in a specific country, we often suggest sort of having a balanced approach. So when we talk about local government, in the UK they call it councils, in Denmark we call it municipalities, other countries have different names for that. But to try and find either a group of similar cases, so you can compare like with like, as we say in academia, or try and get a representative sample. Because in most cases, we can't, unfortunately, assess every single local authority in a country. You also see that in some cases, the city may not represent the whole metropole. So in Copenhagen, for instance, it's a city of some almost 2 million people in the metropole, but the municipality itself, Copenhagen, is 700,000 people. But the average size of a municipality in Denmark is about 55,000. So again, this is something we advise on, but it depends on the partner in terms of their resources and their strategic focus. But it's then captured in the report what the case selection was and what the pros and cons are.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you for the question. Let's go back to online again. Dimitrios, I think you had a question, or Sabrin wanted to say something. Yeah, Sabrin.
Yes, I don't know if we actually have questions, but thank you, Steve, for the intervention. That was actually a very interesting question. You know, our partners actually addressed the question very well. With that said, I would like to emphasize some points before we leave the floor for you, Denise and Morten, for the closing remarks, because we're apparently running out of time. The main reason why we are here today at the IGF doing this session is because we believe in the potential of the joining forces. That said, our workshop is under the sub-theme of digital cooperation as it's communicated, and it refers to the collaborative efforts between governments, private sector, civil society, international organizations, all parties, you know, moving together to address global digital challenges. Some of the policy, let's say, questions that we wrote in the descriptions, or we might like go through them very briefly. As I said, the role of civil society and private sector. So one of the significant takeaways from the Tunisian case study is the indispensable, let's say, or important role of civil society. So we take us as an example, the Tunisian e-governance society. We led the LOSI assessment, and this highlights how civil society organizations with their deep understanding of local communities can serve as crucial bridges between citizens and governments. They can independently collect data, they can assess services, they can provide valuable feedback, they can help governments identify gaps in areas of improvement to support governmental efforts. That's a powerful model for advancing, you know, digital, local digital governance, especially if governmental resources are limited. The next is the role of international organization and best practices. Now, this is a scoop, for people who would like to collaborate with us. I would like to say is international organizations like UNDESA and UNU eGov play a vital role in this. Their provision of methodologies like LOSI, along with guidance and support, offers a framework, a standardized actually framework for assessment and global perspective on best practices. Another important note is that I know change can be challenging at some point. We want to see changes fast in our local government, especially in our digital transformation journey. And that's why addressing challenges in digital transformation requires a flexible approach. And this is what we were trying to apply in our second phase, is that we invented, let's say, the quick fixes framework, in that we wanted to apply this flexible approach of seeing long term.
Sabine, just if you could conclude, so we have 4 minutes only.
Okay.
But I want you to conclude in the next 15 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. Us as a society, I want to emphasize our openness to collaboration. So our team brings together experts across multiple disciplines, from technical implementation to policy design as well, giving us a unique, holistic, let's say, perspective of digital governance challenges.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
If I can give 2 minutes to Morten, just to say, but Sabine, you already started concluding the session. Your points are well taken and very to the point, Morten.
I just wanted to put...
Sorry, Morten, before Morten, just 1 minute, because we have one question from the audience, from the participants.
Oh, okay.
Can I make it? From Emmanuel Oruk from Uganda, how accessible is it the project for a person with disabilities?
Yeah, Dimitrios, if you can respond to that in the chat, Morten.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put some of the findings of the Tunisian case into a global perspective, where the key weaknesses for the Tunisian municipalities are not the provision of information online. It's more about transactional services. And this is where these findings also have a role to national policy and the role of national government in providing the key enablers for digital transactional services like electronic identification, digital signatures, and providing also a national set of policy and technical components to enable and empower local authorities to deliver services online, not just information. And this is something we see not just being a challenge in emerging economies, we see this also in the classical global rich north, where federal countries, for instance, don't have a national infrastructure for e-identity or signatures. This is the case in Canada and the UK, for instance. And that becomes a barrier for transactional service delivery and the transactional development. So the local framework cannot work exclusively in isolation. It is linked to also national policy priorities and enablers and direction given from the national government. So that's a very interesting outcome of the Tunisian in a regional perspective.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Morten. And sorry for the rush, but we have 2 minutes. And about the accessibility question or any other one, we have relevant associated features with those. We are checking those, and I appreciate Dimitrios responding in the chat. So just to say a few words in the conclusion, I think Sabrine's remarks was really to the point. So here at the IGF, this is the UN Secretary General's Forum on Internet Issues. It brings technical community, private sector, civil society, and of course governments together. And I think this project was a very good example of that. So with the Tunisian e-government society, who is leading this initiative, so we are reaching out to local government officials, but we are also creating collaboration. I think the second part of your presentation is an innovation. You are building on existing methodology and further expanding it, similar to our national and local e-government toolkits, but you are really highlighting. And I think this will be a very good example for other countries to pick from here and learn from you. And I think it will definitely help others. So I just wanted to thank you for that and conclude this session here. And the recording will be available online. And I'm sure, Sabrine, people interested in will be in touch with us. So thank you very much, especially to the Tunisian e-government society for this excellent session.
Thank you.